Hi, and welcome to this week's 5-Minute Masterclass. This week I want to talk to you about what to include in a court statement. Previously we've looked at the don't forget for a statement when you write it for court proceedings. And I want you to think of this 5-Minute Masterclass as working together with that previous 5-Minute Masterclass, and for you to look at them together. Increasingly, nursery staff, primary staff, health visitors, childminders and GPs are being asked to write statements for court where they're involved with a child. And once upon a time that statement didn't have to include an awful lot other than maybe whether there were any welfare concerns, what the referral said, and what the child's attendance was and any other pertinent issues that there may have been. However, with the introduction of the public law outline and the short court timescales that there are, the court's got very specific about what it would like to see within a court statement. And in this particular masterclass, we're going to look specifically at those reports and statements that are prepared by nursery staff and by schools. And there are 6 main points that in every statement you will be asked to cover. Now, it's important to remember that each case is going to be different. There will always be issues that arise that are unique to that particular case and that relate only to that particular case. And so these 6 pointers are to be taken as a general starting point in terms of your court statement. But like I say, it's important to remember that there may be something very specific to that particular child or family that you are asked to include, or if you're not asked to include, that you feel is important for the court and the people involved in that child's life to be aware of. So, back to the general terms. One of the first things you'll be asked to comment on and asked to provide details of is a child's attendance in your setting. Now, there is a tendency for settings to simply add the attendance register to the back of their statement. If I'm honest, that's neither use or ornament to anybody that doesn't work within your setting, because we don't understand it. If you're not in an education setting, yes, you can probably figure it out with not too much difficulty, but it's much easier for a professional to set out the child attended this number of days. This is their percentage of attendance. They are late this number of times. They have been on time this number of times. Or they've attended this number of days out of however many days. Rather than simply attaching the register, it makes it much easier to understand and creates a better picture for professionals outside of your setting to understand what's been going on. You'll also be asked to comment on punctuality. So, do they turn up on time? Do they turn up late? How many lates do they turn up? Is there a pattern to this? Is it perhaps every second Tuesday in the month they're late? Or is there a pattern of every Friday and every Monday they miss mornings or miss afternoons? That sort of thing. Spell it out. Spoon feed the information to the professional that's asking for your court report. The third thing that will be asked of you is to comment on a child's appearance and be specific. It will be different for every child that you write a report for. Some children will turn up immaculately presented. Others may turn up grubby and dirty, perhaps some of the time, if not all of the time. But make it child specific. Paint that picture for the professional at the other end of the report so they know what it is that life is like for that child, that they turn up in dirty and unkempt clothes, their face has never been washed, and then it's crawling in their hair. Are they children who turn up in very crisp clothes, they're very clean, very well presented, and it's perhaps other issues that are causing concern, if at all? The other thing to comment on include attainment. So is a child reaching their targets? Are they reaching their developmental milestones if they're in early years? There is a great big difference between how a 2-year-old will function and the sort of things you can expect from them as opposed to a 5-year-old. So where are they? Have you got a 5-year-old that's behaving like a 2-year-old or vice versa? That can be really important. Another key issue is parental engagement and cooperation. Perhaps you've tackled parents in relation to their attendance or their punctuality or their appearance. How have they engaged with that? How have they responded to that? Do they turn up for parents' evenings? Do they drop the children off and pick them up, or is somebody else doing that? Do you know who's picking them up? If you need parents to come in and talk to you, do they do that, or do they tell you to get lost or use even more colourful language than that? So how do they work with you? And finally, in any case, comment on anything else that's pertinent to that child. Are there any other welfare concerns that you haven't already covered? It's a bit of a catch-all provision, but you know that child. You work with that child. You see that child day in, day out. You will probably see that child more so than their parents, their carers, or their social worker or health visitor. You know them. You know how that child behaves. So be specific around, is there anything else that you feel is necessary for the other professionals to know, and include it in your statement. And where you can, back it up with evidence. If you have written records of issues that have arisen and how you've tackled it or how you've dealt with it, then attach them to the back of your statement. Because the more information you can provide, the less chance there is that you will be challenged on that information in a courtroom. So until next week, have a look at the don't forgets again. If you've got any questions or queries, please feel free to send me an email or to leave a comment below the video, and I'll do my best to come back to you. Alternatively, get in touch with me on the Safeguarding Academy Facebook page or through the email that you'll see that this arrives in. So I look forward to hearing from you, and have a great week.